Well, I'll tell you what got me going on song. I can tell you exactly when that started, and that was in Ann Arbor. Had a little house out on the edge of town, and we called it, there were a bunch of apple trees around. It was just a shack, and everybody called it the Apple Grove. Well, that's when all the cats started coming up from Chicago, and when I got to know Big Walter and Johnny Shines, everybody come up and stay at my house, and then they'd come and play at different places in town, the Blind Pig and Mr. Flood's, all these places, but we got the thing going, and that's when I got to meet Robert Lockwood and Johnny Shines and especially Roosevelt Sykes. So as I got to interacting with those guys and playing with them, those three guys especially, they were prolific writers. You know, I was just this cocky kid, and I just thought I knew it all, and I was, you know, but they, you know, it was no jive stuff with those guys. I mean, they would just look you in the eye and tell you, say, motherfucker, you know, what are you doing? You know, you want to go out and get fucked up, or you want to play music? I'm like, I want to play music, sir.
I got too many bad habits, killing me by degree. I got too many bad habits, they're killing me by degree. Start out to walking, wind up crawling down on my knees. I like to drink coffee, champagne, beer, and wine. Got a habit of cussing, another one lying. I like to play the race horses, and I bet the numbers too. I like to eat too much of that Texas barbecue. I got too many bad habits, killing me by degree. Start out to walking, wind up crawling down on my knees.
Then you got to be your own man. You got to write your own songs. They say, why are you doing so-and-so song? Why are you doing this with songs? Write your own song. Like, wow. I said, well, okay, well, that's what I got to do. So I started trying to tell my own story, but mainly because those guys encouraged me. To be, to be my own guy, and to not copy other people. And, they set the example. I mean, those guys were always doing different stuff. Robert Lockwood especially. He didn't want to, you could hardly get him to play Robert Johnson songs. He didn't want to do that. He told me that, he said that when Robert Johnson died, Robert was living with Robert Jr.'s mother. And Robert Johnson raised little Robert Jr. I mean, he taught him. And Robert Jr. could play anything that Robert did and play it exactly like he played it. But at the time when Robert Johnson died, Robert told me about how Robert Johnson told Robert Jr., he said, man, he said, I got something that's going to light up the whole music. He said, the whole music world. He was already, in his own way, he was writing down arrangements and making up arrangements and had all this stuff in his head, and he had funny notes of how for a band with horns and a whole, he was going in a whole nother direction, and so this is what inspired Robert Jr., to never, he did all this great stuff on these records with Little Walter and all the stuff that was popular at that time. Yeah, he played it great, and he loved it, but he said, he tried to instill in me that you shouldn't just stay stuck in one thing, that you should keep moving forward, and that you know, that if you just playing somebody else's stuff that has already been done, then you're just a copycat. I mean, there's, you know, so that's, does that answer your question?
You did. I like to smoke reefers and I like to sniff cocaine. I like to drink whiskey, smoke cigarettes all in a chain. Got a pretty woman habit and long legs upset my soul. The only habit I ain't got is that one called self-control. I got too many bad habits. Are killing me by degree. Start out to walking, I wind up crawling down on my knees. I got so many bad habits. They're killing me, yes, it's true. When you got too many bad habits, they kill you, yes, it's true. I'm gonna change my way of living. I'm gonna change my way of living and cut out one or two.